Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time I'll finally be doing the Q&A that you guys have been asking for. So this time I went ahead and printed out all of the questions, and it's quite a lot. So I wanted to print them out just because, you know, last time when I was doing it on the phone, like I would lose track, the phone would turn off and I would just lose my questions. So I went ahead and printed them out. So we're gonna get right into the video. So I'm gonna just go down the paper and read all of the questions. So the first question is your nail shop in your home? So yes, I do have a home-based salon, and that's it. So Jayla said, you're growing so fast, so big and so fast. How do you handle everything? The way that I handle everything is kind of just set like a certain amount of time for each thing. So like, you know, like I do nails Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm off Friday, work Saturday, and off Sunday. So it's kind of easy for me as far as like doing my videos, just because I can record while I'm working, and then at night I use that time, like I literally lay in bed and like edit the videos, and like if I have to do a voiceover, I'll do it in the morning and then I'll upload the video. So I kind of have like my schedule already made up. Right now I did add something to my schedule, which is I'm doing a workout boot camp. So that's actually like early in the morning. I wake up at 5:30. I have to be there at 6, and then I'm there for an hour, come home. I'll make it home by like 7:15, take a shower, and then I thought that I could go back to sleep, but I can't, because like once I'm up, like I'm up. So like I've been able to get a lot done as far as like recording videos like I'm doing now, editing videos. Last week I redid my whole room, so I took that time to do that. You know, just doing nails, and like I just kind of set a certain amount of time for each thing, and I have my own, you know, since I make my own schedule, I'm able to incorporate and switch around and just adjust whatever I need to in order to get my stuff done. So hopefully that answered your question. Question number 3 is, can you do a close-up of your cuticle work, or can you explain the details on how to place the acrylic by the cuticle, please and thank you? Okay, so actually today, this video will probably go up tomorrow. So today I'll post a video. I seen your comment yesterday. So the video that I'm gonna be posting, so yesterday, the video that was posted yesterday, that video shows a close-up. I got as close as I could, but basically like whenever you place the bead closer to the cuticle area, you want to place it really close to the cuticle area. But when you place it down, that's when you always see me patting down on the acrylic, and when I pat it down, that's like spreading the acrylic closer to the cuticle. So like say here's the cuticle, like okay, say here's the cuticle, you want to place the acrylic really close to it, and then whenever you pat it down, it kind of like flattens out and it spreads like as close as it can to the cuticle. And then of course, you know, if it gets on the skin, just wipe around it. But in the video you will see really close up on, you know, what I'm doing. So hopefully that video helps, and I'll be sure to link it down in the description. But as far as like the cuticle work, it's just gonna take practice. It's not something that's gonna come to you overnight. It's literally, you know, hours of doing it over and over and over again and finding what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you. So it's gonna be different for everyone. But anyways, question number 4 is, when you first started, how long did it take you to do a full set versus now? So when I first started, the very first set that I ever did was on my little sister, and I kid you not, it took me like 4 hours. And then as soon as she woke up, because she actually fell asleep during the process, she woke up and she took her nails off. So like 4 hours. I think when I started doing my friends and other people's, it took me like 2, maybe 2.5 hours. And right now I'm booking all of my clients for 1 hour and 30 minutes. But honestly, I feel like since we are not like the traditional nail salon, you know, we're actually I guess I could say nail techs, or I don't even know what y'all call it, but it take me 1 hour and 30 minutes. But you guys know that it takes us longer, because on the unlike the nail shops, like we're actually doing the bling, we're doing like the hand freehand nail art, we're doing foils, we're doing, you know, all type of stuff that they most likely don't do or don't do often. So it does take us a little bit longer. So I think like an hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours is a good time. I know I do have that one client that gets her nails really long. I do book her for 2 hours. There's probably another 2 people that I book for 2 hours just because they always get, you know, more than the usual. So you know, who you need to book for what time and what other people to book for more time. And then of course, you know, whenever people get their toes polished, I try to book like another 30 minutes just so I'm not running behind. But yeah, I think an hour and 30 minutes is good timing. Let's see. Somebody said, how much have you invested in building your own nail salon or your own nail business? Would you ever rent a station at a salon? How long does it take you to build a sole loyal client list? Okay, so the first question was, how much did you invest? Honestly, I think I still had the receipts. I remember showing you guys in one of my videos. I can't remember which one, but I showed you all the receipts and it wasn't much at all. Like, I probably can still find them. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so I still have my receipts from when I first started. This was from, do I have the year? Oh, okay, this was from 2012. So I actually started like at the end of I think the whole process started in 2012. So I have a receipt from Harbor Freight. I bought my drill from there. So it wasn't even a nail drill. It was a, it was a cordless rotary, I don't know, but it was a freaking drill from the hardware store. I also bought French tips, clear nail tips, the liquid, the powder, plastic bottles, a brush, and a box. That was $99. At the hardware store I spent $30. I also have one from Sally's for $70. I got some polish from Walmart, which was $32. And I got, oh, this was my what was this? My shelves. This is for my shelves from Home Depot. That was $19. So that literally was it. And then of course I did buy more nail polish at one of the like beauty supply stores, and they were all like $1 a piece. I remember I bought like 80 something nail polishes, and I think I literally grabbed like one of each. So I didn't invest much at all, because my thing is like, you know, don't break the bank trying to like buy all this stuff. I think it's better to just like buy a little bit at a time, you know, just get the colors that you know people will get, you know, your blue, your pink, your green, your orange, you know, like the main colors. And then as you grow and as you make money, use that money to buy more products. So don't just go out and then be broke and then be, you know, I don't even know what to say, like desperate to get clients or to do nails just so you can make your money back. Like, just spend a little bit of money on your product. You know, get the small containers, just enough for you to practice and make a little money. And then as you make that money, use that money to buy more product. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make. I understand, you know, you want to get everything, but as a beginner, you don't want to just necessarily do that, because there is a chance that you might realize like, hey, you know, this might not be for me, or, you know, it could be the complete opposite. And you're like, hey, you know, like this is working for me. I'm making a lot of money. So let me use this money and go invest it in more products. So you want to be smart, and I was gonna say work hard. I don't know, never mind. But the next question was, would you ever rent a station at a salon? And honestly, the answer is just no, because I'm so used to just working by myself. So I feel like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else with other people, I guess. I don't know. I just got used to, you know, being there with my clients, and that's it. I'm also not gonna go pay somebody when I don't have to pay anyone here. And the other question was, how long did it take you to build a clientele? Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, just because as the years went by, when I first started doing nails, not all of those clients stuck with me, but a lot of them did. So I have some clients from there, and then like throughout the years, you know, some people stopped coming, so I might have picked up some other people. So like I honestly could not tell you, but the key is to just, you know, make sure that you rebook your clients every 2 weeks. Like after you finish doing their nails, get their book, you know, get your little book, or whether you do it online or however, you know, just remind them, you want to go ahead and book your 2 weeks, or, you know, do you want me to put you down, however you do it, but make sure that you remind them. That way you get them on the schedule. Now you will have those people that only come like for their birthday, for, you know, graduation, for a special event, which will be the younger crowd. A lot of my clients are older. I think the youngest one I have right now, she's probably like 18, and like for her right now, she's doing like the work program through the city or something like that, so she doesn't get off work till late. So she only come, you know, when she has like she just had her graduation, she just had her prom and all that stuff. So you will have some clients like that. But for the most part, all of mine are every 2 weeks. So I already know, even if they don't tell me. Like this morning, I actually had one of my clients say, hey girl, you know, I forgot to rebook my 2 weeks. And I'm like, or she said, I need to book an appointment. And I was like, do you want to do 2 weeks? She's like, yes. And I was like, okay, I already have you down, because I already knew that she comes every 2 weeks. So when I was looking at my book, I went ahead and put her down for 2 weeks, because I know that's what she always do. So hopefully that answered your questions. Let's see, she said, how do you figure out how to price your sets? Okay, so you guys know that recently I did go up on my prices. I'll be sure to leave the price list over here on the side. And basically for the longest I was just charging, I think like $45 for a full set with bling, or not bling, but you know, whatever they wanted, on however they wanted. Like it was just $45. But a lot of people were getting them like super long, and I realized, like, you know, it was to the point where I was like, you know, this is worth a lot more. You know, if they went somewhere else, they would be paying like $100 and something. So finally, when I redid my room, I was like, you know what, you know, when I redo it, everything's gonna change, new prices, new everything. So the short nails are pretty much the same, just $30, and you can still get whatever you want. But for short nails it's $30, for medium nails it's $45, long nails is $55. And again, I'll leave the price list below or on the side, just because I can't remember off the top of my head. Whenever I'm doing nails, I still have to look at it because I haven't memorized the prices yet. But what I think is helpful is kind of just doing your research, you know, looking around to see how much other people charge, you know, the shop, and then just other, you know, local nail techs, to see how much they charge, and kind of just use that as a reference. And, you know, if you feel like, oh, you know, that price that they charge sounds like a good price for me, you know, and I don't know, I feel like, I don't even know how to explain it, but you know, like, just look at other people's prices and see if you feel like that matches your work as well, and then kind of just go by their prices. You know, you might want to charge a little bit less, a little bit more, but that would be like a guide for you. Let me see. Oh, she also said, I'm completely lost in this area because I don't want to under or overcharge. Thanks. So again, just do your research, you know, look up different people in your area, you know, go to a nail shop and look at their prices. But that's really what's going to help. Okay, so the next question is, how do you deal with unhappy clients? Like clients who never seem to be satisfied with their nails. Honestly, I have had maybe like one person. When I read this question, it was one person that came up to my mind, and it was just someone that like you said, they were never satisfied with their nails. You know, like you would show them something and they would be like, no, they don't want that, and then you do something and then they don't like it. It was pretty annoying and it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, you know, they are paying, so you know, you can't really do much other than just, I guess, suck it up. There are people that they just like flat out don't deal with stuff like that, so they basically like fire their clients. I know there's even like letters, or not letters, but I guess like letters that like basically helps you fire your clients. I'll be sure to look for one because I think they're pretty funny. But yeah, it's basically like saying like, hey, you know, like, I can't continue to service you because da 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 da. I can refer you to someone in the area or something like that. But you can also go to that extent, or the only other thing is to just like suck it up and keep rolling. Let's see, on to the next question is, Advice for those whose shaping still isn't perfect. The only thing that I can tell you about shaping is, in all of my videos, I tell you go, like if you're doing a coffin, do 45-degree angle on the sides and exactly a 90-degree angle. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You're going to be able to see your shape change as you're falling, so you have to pay attention. And then it's also going to come with just practicing. You have to do it over and over and over and over again until you just perfect your shape. So it's not gonna, just like falling or preventing lifting, it's not gonna come overnight. It's just a matter of practicing. That's why you have to be very patient when you are in this industry. Let's see, somebody said, what's the worst experience you've ever had with a client and how did you handle it? Honestly, let me see, I do have one bad experience that I can think of. So basically it was two ladies, they're cousins, and I was doing one of the ladies' nails and her other cousin called her and they were talking on the phone and she had her on speaker. So they were just talking or whatever. And then the cousin's like, so what are you doing? The one that was on the phone, not the one whose nails I was doing. She was like, so what are you doing? She was like, oh, I'm getting my nails done. And she was like, how did she say it? She was like, oh, to Natali, I said, hey. And she was like, she said, hey, and I could hear her. And then she was like, Natali got a fucked up shape. And at that time, I thought maybe, she didn't like the shape of her nails or something. And then the lady was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, like she's got a fucked up shape. And I was like, and like at that moment, like y'all, I wanted to cry because I don't want to say I'm just like insecure, but like I'm not just, I don't have a Coca-Cola body or nothing like that, but like that really hurt my feelings. So like the lady, she's like, well, let me call you back. And the lady's like, hold on, what? She's like, yeah, let me call you back. And then she got off the phone. She was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know she was going to say that. So like for the rest of the service, like it was just awkward. And then afterwards, like, I guess she knew that, I heard her. So afterwards, the lady texted me and she was like, hey, what you heard, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about my friend. I was on the phone. She said I was talking to my friend that was in a car with me, and we were talking about how you had a bad body, but when us girls say bad, that means good. And like she basically like tried to switch it around and make it seem like she wasn't saying a fucked up body. But I knew exactly what she said. So I think I didn't text her back till like the next day because I wanted to, like, literally the first respond was gonna be like a cuss word was gonna come out of my mouth. Like when I was texting, like that was gonna be the first word that came out of my mouth. And I was like, at the end of the day, I'm still running my business, like I can't do that. So like I was thinking about it. Like I spent all day thinking about what I was gonna say back to her. And then finally I was like, what? I text her back and I was like, hey, like I know exactly what was said. You don't need to explain yourself because I know exactly what you said, and you didn't say bad because I know what that means. When people say like, damn girl, you bad, something like that. But I said, I know that that's not what was said. And I was like, but you said what you said, and I just want to let you know that I'm no longer, comfortable after this. Like I'm no longer comfortable with me, doing your nails. So we're just gonna leave it at that, and that's just it. So, and that's probably not exactly what I said, but along those lines. And she was just like, I'm sorry, this and that, and we kind of just left it at that. And that was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and I haven't seen her since. And then her cousin stopped coming as well. But yeah, that was my worst experience. So it wasn't necessarily me doing nails that was a bad experience. It was just what was said while I was doing nails. So yeah, that was it for that. The next question is, one thing you wish you knew before going to nail school. Well, actually, you guys know that I went to cosmetology school, not nail school. And honestly, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into just because I did the high school program and then I did the college program to finally get my cosmetology license. But I think I pretty much knew what I was getting myself into. It's not hard at all. Like, you literally just have to do the work, which a lot of it is hands-on. The book work is really easy as well. What we did was, like, Monday and Tuesday we were in the classroom. Well, like, this was in college. Monday and Tuesday we were in the classroom, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we were out in the lab working on clients. So it wasn't really hard at all, like at all, at least for me. But I kind of just minded my business. There was only like 1 or 2 girls that I talked to, so you know, we'll be doing a roller set, a flat iron, a color, something. We would just sit there and talk, do our work, show it to the teacher, she sign off on it, and then we do the next thing. So it was really simple, and I don't want to say it was just fun, because it wasn't. I went, like I said, Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So by the time I was out, like, I was ready to go home, take a shower, and then the next morning I would do nails up until like 2, and then I would drive to school. So it was like it was just like a cycle, Monday through Friday. So I was like pretty much ready to be done. Let's see, somebody said, what are some colored acrylic powders you would recommend or not? As you guys know, I just recently started working with more colored acrylics. I bought 2 of the Mia Secret collections. I can't remember what it's called, but one is like I can't remember, and I don't want to lie. So I'll be sure to leave those in the description. But some of the Mia Secret, they're hard to work with. Some aren't, but some are. I did a swatch on some of them not too long ago, so I'll be sure to leave that link down in the description. But then the other ones that I use are by Nail Supply Glamour, and all of those have worked really good for me. So I would recommend those over the Mia Secret, just because, again, the Mia Secret, they're really small. It comes with like a lot of colors, but they're really small, and again, some of them are really hard to work with. So I would say the ones from Nail Supply Glamour. I will leave a link in the description, as well as the promo code, which is Get Nailed. The next question is, when building a social media account, whether it's Instagram or Facebook for your business, would you recommend making a separate account or using your personal account? Thanks in advance. I mean, you kind of said it in the comment, you know, business and personal. You want to keep both of them separate. For a while, I did post on my personal page, and then that's when I just ended up getting one, you know, business page. So I would say keep it separate, just because, you know, you don't want, you know, like maybe one night you're posting something that you don't want your business people to know, you know, I don't know, but I would say just keep it separate. You do your nail page, your personal page, and just keep them separate, because it's just more professional. Somebody said, I experienced lifting a lot near the cuticle. What's the best way to prevent lifting? Also do a video on acrylic overlay on long natural nails. Okay, so the way to preventing lifting, that is a little bit hard, just because, like, I actually had been experiencing lifting here lately. I might have it under control, because sometimes it's hard to know where exactly it's coming from, just because it could be a number of things. Whether you're not prepping the nail correctly, which is removing the shine, pushing back the cuticles, you know, or, you know, maybe your primer is expired, or the nail tips are either too big or too small. Maybe you're not following around the cuticle area really good, or maybe it's just your acrylic that's not adhering to the nail really good. So, you know, it could be a number of things. So it's kind of just like a process of elimination. You know, when you prep the nail, are you removing all of the shine? When you apply the nail tips, are they, you know, the right size? So you're gonna have to just do that process of elimination to kind of come down to an answer to see, oh, okay, that's what it was. You know, I was not removing the shine from the nail completely, or there was still shiny spots on a nail, so that's what I need to change. So you have to just watch what you're doing and kind of come down to a conclusion. That way you can fix the problem. As far as doing a video on acrylic overlay on long nails, you guys know that all of my clients get acrylic nails, so if I come around, you know, that chance, then of course I will be sure to record it, but I'll definitely keep that in mind. The next question is, will you open a salon soon? And when the hiring process comes for nail techs, will you take it? What? Okay, she said, will you open a nail salon? And when the hiring process comes for nail techs, will you take in some nail techs from Instagram? Okay. So honestly, my goal before, when I first started doing nails back in 2012, my goal was to open up a salon, until I actually worked in one for like 2 weeks and then I changed my mind. So honestly, that's not my goal anymore, at least not, for the time being. Maybe in the future, once I'm ready to like settle down and I can be at the salon, just because it's hard to kind of just put your trust and someone, to run your business. I feel like if I opened up a business, I would want to be there. And like, if I opened up a big business, I would want to be there, instead of just letting someone do it. So as of right now, no, I'm not planning on it, but that could definitely change. And if it ever does change, I'll be sure to let you guys know. And then of course, I'll be willing to give anyone the job, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or just anyone that's good. And somebody said, what grit do you use when shaping nails? Usually I use a 100, or lately the ones that I bought are 80/100. So you want to make sure that you are using something that's pretty coarse. That way you're not sitting there shaping nails all day, because if it's not coarse enough, it's gonna just take you longer. Somebody say, how many clients do you have since you don't accept new ones? Honestly, I think right now I have like 30 to 40 clients. Again, some of them, don't come every 2 weeks. They might come every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, but they are still regulars. So yeah, I think I'll have to look at my book, but I have like 30 to 40. You do have to keep in mind that, again, I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, work Saturday, and it's only one person. So I think that's a pretty good amount. And then with my clients coming back every 2 weeks, I have all of those people literally every 2 weeks. Somebody said, does nail clients support your living more than YouTube? Honestly, I make more money on YouTube than I do doing nails. That changed a while back. Of course, when I first started, it wasn't as much on YouTube, but now it's probably like, I couldn't even tell you how many times more than doing nails. But I feel like, in order to continue making money on YouTube, I have to keep doing nails, because whatever I do, it's nails. Like whether it's me uploading nail videos, whether it's me doing my online store, like I have to do my videos in order to promote my products. So whatever I do, I have to continue doing nails. Let's see, somebody said, did a person ever come in and get their nails done and didn't pay? What did you do? Honestly, I have some people, like I have one of my friends that I went to school with. Like she'll ask me, ahead of time, like, hey, is it okay if I pay you on this date, because that's when I get paid or something. And that's fine, because I know that she's gonna pay me. Now, like a couple years ago, I had this one lady that she wouldn't tell me until the day of, like probably even when she was sitting in my chair. She'll be like, hey, but can I pay you like next week? And it's like, I'm already doing your nails, so I didn't want to just be like, get out of my chair. So I would just be like, yeah, that's fine. So like the first time she did that, it took her like 2 weeks to pay me back. The second week she did that, it took her like a month to pay me back. And then the third time she did that, that's when I was like, this is gonna be the last time, because it's taking so long. So so the third time she did it, like she never paid me back. And then like and her daughter actually started doing nails now. So I think right before her daughter started doing a lot more nails, her daughter came to get her nails done, and she came with her. And she's like, don't think I forgot about my money. She said, don't think I forgot about your money. I'm gonna drop it off tomorrow. And I was just like, first off, in my mind, I'm just like, why would you even bring it up? It's been like 2 or 3 years. So in that situation, I feel like sometimes, people need the money more than you do. So you kind of just let it go. And that's what I did. So anyways, the next question is, okay, Sugar. The next question is, how did your family feel about you doing nails for a living, or do you have another job? My other jobs, yes, I have multiple jobs. My other job is YouTube. My other job is my online store. My other job is taking care of sugar and nails. So I have multiple jobs. But yeah, as far as like doing nails for a living, like my parents didn't really care. You know, they knew that that's what I wanted to do. My mom is actually a hairdresser, so you know, that's kind of where I got my talent from, I guess I could say. So yeah, they didn't feel any type of way about it at all, because they knew it was something that I really liked. Somebody said, what's the difference between an oval or round shape? Is it just preference? Honestly, yes, it is just the preference. Of course, the oval shape is going to be more oval. A pointed brush is going to be more pointed. I honestly prefer to use an oval brush just because the pointed ones are so small. So it really just comes down to preference. If you are a beginner and you don't know what kind of brush to get, I would suggest, you know, trying out different ones and just seeing what works for you best. And not even just shape, but the size as well. Let me see. Someone said, Brianna said, what's the best e-file for beginners? The best e-file, honestly, all of the ones that I've reviewed are really, really good. As you guys know, before I moved over to my new room, I was using the drill by McCart. That one worked really good for me. Even before I switched over, like the drill was still working really good. Oh, excuse me. The only reason why I decided to switch over to the Scarlet drill was because I wanted all new everything, like all new table, all new chairs. Like you guys know that I like got all new everything, so I wanted to do or get a all new drill, and I already had the Scarlet one, so I decided to just use that one. But again, all of the drills that I have not given me any issue at all. They worked really good for me, and I have no complaints. I think there was one though, but I told you guys about it, how it just like absolutely like stopped working, but it was a really cheap one from Amazon. But as when buying drills, it kind of just comes to like, how much do you want to spend, you know, what style do you want? Just because like the McCart one was like the traditional, you know, like rectangle box kind, and then the Scarlet one is more of like, it kind of looks like a cup, and then you put the drill on top like this and it holds the drill. So it literally just comes down to, again, how much do you want to spend, as well as the RPMs. That's really important. I would suggest that you get something like a 30,000 RPMs, because if not, it's going to be too slow and it's not going to have enough power, and when you're filing, it's going to stop. So I would suggest doing a 30,000 RPMs. And the style, I think I already said that. Somebody said how to make the Mia Secret less runny. I was doing the drops of acetone in the monomer, and that helped a lot. I kept seeing that in the comments because people were seeing that my acrylic was runny. I stopped doing it though, just because like I literally just stopped doing it last week, because again, I was having problems with lifting, and I wanted to make sure that that's not what was causing my lifting. So I stopped doing it for right now, just until I can figure out what's causing my lifting. I think it's really coming down to maybe I needed a new drill bit, or it could also be my monomer. So I'm in between those two things, but once I figure it out, I will start back adding the drops of acetone into my monomer. That way it's not as running. But honestly, that helps a lot. Again, a lot of people are telling me about it, and then finally I listened to them, and it absolutely like keeps it from being so runny. Somebody said, did you ever have doubts on starting out and that you wouldn't make it? Honestly, yes. When I first started, I did give up. Right before I started the cosmetology program in my high school, just because I was doing nails and like they would lift like literally the next day, and people would text me, you know, telling me that they're getting lifting, and it was just embarrassing for me, because you had this person pay you for their nails and then they're falling off the next day. So that's when I was like, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna wait until I start school. Maybe the teacher can help me out and tell me what I'm doing wrong. So you know, I did want to give up, but everybody was like, you know, you've gotten this far, just keep working, you know, you're gonna find what works for you. And at that time I was only using a hand file and not a drill, and then finally I switched over to an actual nail drill, and it helped with the lifting. But again, it's going to take a while for you to realize what's causing the issue. And then once you find out what's causing the issue, you're going to have to work to fix it. So whether, say it was my filing, I would have to make sure that, I pay really close attention around the cuticle area to make sure that I was doing the right amount of filing. That way my nails would not lift. Somebody said, where do you get all your rhinestones from? As you guys know, all of the rhinestones that I use are on my website. Right now it's still down for restocking, but it will be very, very soon. I'm gonna try to keep doing it once a month. Again, I do have a lot of stuff going on, whether it's my YouTube, whether it's me doing nails. So that's why I don't keep it up, year round, just because it's a lot for me. I would rather do all the orders all at once and then close it down, and then another month do them all at once, because it'd be so many orders that I don't want to have to be doing orders every day. The next question is, how long did it take you to perfect a set? Honestly, I feel like in this nail industry, we learn something new every day, whether it's a new technique, whether it's a new, design. So I feel like you don't never just stop learning. You don't ever just, perfect something. It's all a learning experience, and you're just gonna learn something new every day. One set might look a little bit better than the next or something, but it's just a learning experience, and I don't think that we can ever just be perfect. So it's just gonna take a lot of practice. Somebody said, glue that can be used for foil instead of foil glue. Honestly, I don't know of any other glue that can be used for foils. I know there was a top coat. I think I seen someone using like a top coat, a gel top coat, but I'm not sure what type of gel it was. Maybe you can look up like gel for foils or something. I'll try to look it up and leave the link down in the description, and if I forget, be sure to remind me. Somebody said, biggest tips for a beginner. Biggest tips. I'm thinking about nail tips. So the biggest tips for a beginner would be to just practice. Again, I think in my last video I told you guys that I would try to like do a list with all of the steps, that way you guys can have like a guide to go by. So I'm still gonna do it pretty soon when I get some time and have it out for you guys. But it's really just like practicing and doing everything over and over and over and over again until you're able to perfect your craft. Or again, you're not really gonna perfect it, but until you get to the point where you're like, oh, like my nails look good, or until you can look at the nails and just feel comfortable about your work. But it's going to take a lot of patience, practice, and dedication. You have to be very, very dedicated. It has to be something that you really like and enjoy doing, because if not, it's not going to go too well. So just keep that in mind. Tips on shaping, I already answered that question. Just watch the videos and it tells you like how, again, 45-degree on the sides and a 90-degree angle. You want to make sure that when you're filing the tip, it's exactly a 90-degree angle. You don't want to file like this to the side. Exactly a 90-degree angle, and make sure that you're watching your shape when you're working. That way you can actually see your shape changing, because if you see it maybe leaning over to the side a little bit, you can fall on that side and to straighten it out, but you have to pay attention. Somebody said, would you recommend for an at-home learner to keep watching YouTube videos? Would you recommend for a home learner to keep watching YouTube videos? Practice still gets better, or would you recommend going into a nail tech school? I live in Arizona. There's mostly cosmetology school, but I'm not into hair at all. I'd rather go into a nail only school. I enjoy doing nails and I love your videos, by the way. They are very helpful. Hey girls, so honestly, it's good to, be self-taught. You can learn a lot, through videos. I know mine here are very helpful and very detailed. But if you ever plan on opening your own business or working in a salon, you are going to need your license. So unfortunately, even though you might know everything that someone that's licensed knows, you're still going to need your license in order to work somewhere, or again, to have your own business. So like, even for me, that's kind of what I wanted to do. I only wanted to do nails, but we really didn't have any nail schools here in the area, so I had no choice but to do the cosmetology program. Honestly, I would say just go ahead and look into a cosmetology program and see which one you like better, just because, you know, again, if you ever plan on working somewhere, you are gonna need the license and there's no way around it. So it's kind of like you have no choice, which that's how I was as well. Someone else said, when you weren't a nail tech and you were practicing on friends and family, did you charge them? If so, how much? Okay, so before I got my license, again, I was already doing nails. So like when I first started and I was practicing on my sister and my friends, like of course I wasn't charging them. But then once I got to the point where I was doing like better, you know, and I was getting a lot better, I was charging, but I was only charging like $25. But that was what, like bling and stuff on each nail. And I'll be sure to leave pictures of those hair. But it, you know, I was doing a lot. Like they were getting the bling, they were getting like literally something different on each nail. So I feel like it was worth, you know, the $25. But if you feel like, you know, if you know that the nails are not gonna last very long, then I would say just do it for free, especially if you're doing like your family and friends. And then you could tell them, you know, you don't have to pay me, but you can just tip me, and then you can just use that money towards, you know, buying more product. Let's see, it says, if you only want to do nails for your close friends and family, do you still need a cosmetology license? Pretty much, if you want to do it as a hobby, side hustle, would you need one? Okay, so the only thing about that is if you're gonna be charging people, you do need a license, because it's still kind of like a business. If you were just doing your nails and maybe your mom's and stuff, then it wouldn't be a problem. But if you're charging people, it is a business, so most likely you will need a license. Someone else said advice for new techs, which I've already talked about that. How to build an apex. Okay, so your apex is back here, this area right here. That's where if you hit your nail on something, if that area is really weak and thin, most likely your nail is going to like break off. So what you want to do is when you place that bead, like you're gonna do, like say it's a full set, you do your bead right in the middle, one at the tip, one at the back, and then the last bead you're gonna place right here. You pat it down, and then you want to brush it very, very gently to where a lot of that product is still gonna stay right there, and it's gonna cause your nail to be thicker in the area. So again, your apex is the thickest part of your nail. So if I was to put, let me see, I'm gonna just use this pair of scissors. If I put the scissors over my thumbnail, you see how that area right there touches the scissors? That's my apex. So if that area is not touching your nail, if the entire nail, like say this is your nail and the whole nail is touching the scissors, then that means your nail is too flat and you need to add more acrylic in that area. But again, it's really important that when you place that bead right there, you brush very gently, just because you don't want to brush that product down towards the tip. You want it to stay right there, but when you brush it down, you're literally just blending it in. That way it's not just like a ball right there. You want to blend it in, that way it's like a little slope. You see how it goes down? That's how you want it to be. Hold on, I have a client coming in between my videos, so I have to, she should be here in just a second, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause it for now, and then I will be right back. Alrighty, so after doing 3 clients, I am back to continue the Q&A. The next question is, how thick should short nails be versus long nails? Okay, so when you're doing short nails, you still have to make sure that you build an apex. They don't have to be super thick. As you can see, my nails, they're pretty, I mean, they're not long or short. They're like a medium length, and they're not just super thick, but I do have a nice apex. Again, your apex is right here at the back of the nail. And then also my tips, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the tips of my nails are not thick either. So you just have to look at the nail. There's clients that are gonna want their nails, you know, fairly thin, others that want their nails thicker. So it's just gonna depend on the client, but like the standard is just making sure that your apex is there, because if not, the nails will break off very, very, very easily. Someone said, Tay, who is this? Tay Chunky. She said, have you ever tried a different acrylic system? Yes. When I first started doing nails, I was using OPI Absolute system. I also used Tammy Taylor. With the OPI, I was having a lot of lifting. I don't know if back then it was just me that wasn't doing something correctly, or if it was just the acrylic, but I realized that once I switched over to Mia Secret, that problem was gone. So that's why I always said that I think it was just the product. I used Tammy Taylor when I was in college. The only thing I didn't like about Tammy Taylor, I know they have different collections, but the one that I used, it dried up really fast to the point where like it didn't give you enough time to work with it because it was already dry, so it would be very lumpy. So again, I use OPI, Tammy Taylor, Mia Secret. I do want to use Young Nails, and then I also would want to use the Valentino one. So maybe in the future or here soon I'll like try them out. I know just the other day I was gonna buy the kit by Young Nails, so I'll probably still get it and see how good it is. The next one is, would you ever do one-on-one classes? Honestly, yes, I do plan on doing that in the future. I think honestly right now I just have a lot, like I do a lot to the point where I don't want to add more to that because I don't want to, like, I'm not good under stress and I feel like it would stress me out. So I just want to take it slow, you know, take it step by step. And then as I grow, then I would, you know, add more, and then I'll have more time to do stuff, I feel like. But whenever I do, I'll be sure to let you guys know about it, so anyone that's interested, you know, can get a class. The next question is, have you ever thought about creating your own acrylic line or collaborating with a top brand to create an acrylic brand? I really don't think that I've ever been into like products or like getting my own product, like actual acrylic line. I don't know if maybe that's something that I would consider doing in the future, but as of right now, that part of the industry doesn't really interest me a lot. I know there's a lot of people that's been doing that, but I'm not just there yet. The next question is, I don't know if you're still taking questions. Oh, she said, what is MMA and why is it bad? How can you tell if there's MMA? Okay, so the question is about MMA. So let me look up, I'm actually here at my computer. Let me look it up so I can give you the exact definition. Alrighty, so I have it pulled up, and basically what this website is saying is that it's really the same story that I've always known, that MMA was often used in like dental purposes. So whether it's like making a denture or just making plastics and resins, but most of the time it was just plastic dentures. So the way to know if it's MMA, it's gonna have a really strong odor. It's also gonna be harder to soak off, and when you soak it off, it's gonna be really like almost like gum, like really sticky. Something else is it's always gonna be cheaper. So if you have like say an OPI or Tammy Taylor or Young Nail, like say you get like an 8-ounce bottle and it's like $30-$40, I don't know, like say $50 for an 8-ounce bottle, and then you get another bottle that's also 8-ounce and it's like $10, like you know that most likely that's MMA because there's no product that's that cheap. So that's how you know too, based on the price. Something else, it says that this product has poor adhesion to the natural nail plate. So the natural nail plate must be excessively filed, usually with a drill, for it to adhere better to the nail. Usually when people go to the nail salons, they their nails are really thin because they had to file so much of the natural nail. That way the acrylic, since it's MMA, since it doesn't adhere to the nail really good, they need kind of like a little well to put the acrylic in there and for it to stay, because if it's just like over the natural nail and it's like say we just, you know, remove the shine like we usually do, if we were just to do that, it wouldn't stay on there. That's why they file so much. The MMA acrylic is also banned in the United States and it is illegal, but of course, you know, they still sell it. So when you're looking for products, you do want to make sure that they say EMA, or they'll also say no MMA or something like that, but you do want to pay attention when you're buying products. Usually like the most popular products will be like OPI, they have Young Nail, Tammy Taylor, Mia Secret, even the ones from Sally's, but and Kiss, I don't know if Kiss is MMA or not, but usually there's gonna be some, like I know in my nail supply store they sell some that don't even have a label on it. It might just say acrylic powder, because I know one time I went to the nail supply store and they had like a big gallon, it was literally a gallon of monomer, and it was like $25, and I'm like no, I know that's a lie. So most likely, you know, that's how those products are MMA, because they are very cheap. Same thing with the powder. So yeah, hopefully that helped with your question. So again, you will know because it's really stringy, it's really hard to soak off, and then it should say on the bottle as well, and then the price is just gonna give it away. Next question is, do you have any tips for blending the Mia Secret Cover Pink and White to make the perfect fade? When I tried, they went on so thick that it looked horrible and was visually impossible to make it look nice, and had a harsh line between the colors. Okay, so when you're doing the ombre acrylic, you want to make sure that the color that you're doing at the tip, so like for you, let's say you did the pink, or sorry, the white at the tip, you want to make sure that you don't just like do the pink, or so you want to make sure that you don't just do the white, like, you know, straight line across. You want to kind of blend it up towards the back where the cuticle area is, and then come back with the pink. Most likely, if it was really hard for you to blend, that means that your acrylic was too dry. So try to use a little bit of product at a time, but make sure that it's kind of wet. That way, whenever you brush it down, it blends really well. So again, make sure that again you use a little bit of the product at a time, especially the pink. The white, it doesn't really matter, but do the white at the tip, blend it in the middle. Don't just leave a harsh straight line, and then the pink, add a little bit like right where the white is, and blend it down, and then add more towards the cuticle area, and that should give you a nice ombre. And then of course come back and encapsulate both of those colors with the pink, or sorry, with the clear. What else? It says, how did you get sponsored with Alpha Brush, Mia Secret, Alpha Brush, Madam Glam, etc.? So basically what they just do is they literally just reached out to me. They emailed me, you know, asked me if I wanted to review their products, and that's just kind of how it went. Mia Secret, why do I keep seeing me? Well, actually, I'm kind of working with them too. Basically, they just like send me product and I just review them. As you guys know, all of those products are products that I actually use and like. There have been other products that I've done a review on and I just didn't like, so I just stopped using, because I'm also not gonna sit here and tell you to go buy this product that I don't even use. So if you guys notice in all of my videos, all of the products that I recommend are products that I use and that I know work for me. So again, they just emailed me. Somebody said, what adhesive do you use for your diamonds and how long do they usually last? Okay, so I just started using the Soleil nail adhesive. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description to her shop. And then I was also using the Mia Secret, so I'm kind of like testing out the Soleil one just because I heard a lot of things about them. But then the Mia Secret, I've been using that one for years, and I feel like both of them are kind of like, you know, hand in hand. They work really good. And they last really up to like 2 weeks. Like when my clients come back, you know, they're still on. Now you will have some clients that are just rough with their nails, and you know they're gonna have some missing, but I know for the most part mine always stay really good. I've already used both of them, the Mia Secret and the Soleil, on my nails, and they stayed on really good. What else? He said, how long have you been doing nails? This year makes 7 years. So I started in 2012 and it's 2019. So yeah, it's been 7 years. We talked about lifting. Somebody said, how to thin out acrylic better when trying to soak off. Okay, so when you're doing a soak off, you want to make sure that you file down the acrylic on the nail before you soak the nails, and also make sure you cut them down before you actually soak them. And really the only way to file them down or thin them down is literally just using a coarse or extra coarse drill bit and just filing them down as much as you can. That way whenever you soak the nails, you're not soaking forever. So just use your drill or even your hand file, which is going to take longer, but just use your drill and just file down the acrylic as much as you can. And there's really, I don't know, I mean, that's the only thing you can do. Somebody else said, when you first started doing nails, did you doubt your work sometimes? What was the motivation to keep you going? I think we talked about this earlier. It was a time where I was having a lot of lifting. I didn't know what to do, so I kind of gave up. And then my family was just like, you know, just keep going. You know, you've been doing it for this long. You're gonna figure out eventually. So that's kind of what just kept me going. And then it was something that I actually enjoy doing, so that's why I didn't want to just give up. The next question is, what is a good drill for starters? We already talked about that. I'll be sure to leave the link down in the description. Somebody say how to keep the acrylic out of your brush. I do have a video on how to clean or restore your acrylic brush, so I'll be sure to leave the link in the description. But remember that when you're doing acrylic nails, you want to make sure that you clean your brush off after each set. I cannot stress that enough. You want to make sure that you clean it off really good. And what I do is I just get the little glass dapping dishes. I fill it up with acetone and I put my brush in there and I just let it sit there for like 10 minutes. All of that acrylic that's stuck in your brush is gonna soak off. You wipe it off on a paper towel and set it over to the side and just let it dry. That's it. But you do want to make sure that you do this after each client, because if not, any of that acrylic that's stuck to your brush is gonna stay there and it's gonna get hard and you're gonna ruin your brush. Another thing is also making sure that you wipe your brush on a paper towel when you're doing nails. So anytime you wipe that acrylic from the nail, wipe it off on a paper towel, because if not, the acrylic is gonna build and build and build and build in your brush, and then it's gonna be really hard for you to have a smooth application. But again, I do have a video on that, so I'll leave that link below. Let's see. Somebody said, if you can teach us how to do forms and how to put acrylic on forms. I think I do have a video on that. I'll be sure to leave the link in the description as well. Maybe I think I'm gonna mark you, like, let me see. I need to mark down the comments where I need to leave a link. I'm just gonna put L, what was it? The brush needs a link. The glue needs a link. I'll just, yeah. So anyways, the next one is, when you started out, did everyone you worked out huh? Okay, the next one say, when you were starting out, did everyone you worked out expected to pay minimum amount for your work? More so family or friends? If so, how did you handle that? Again, so when I first started, I was just doing like my little sister's nails, my friends, and I wouldn't charge them. But then, you know, other people I was charging like $25, and that was like something on each nail. So it wasn't much at all compared to what like the shop would charge, because my nails, you know, by that time they looked good, so I think they were worth, if not, you know, more than $25. But I also didn't want to charge a lot because I was only 15 at the time. Somebody said, can you please do a milk bath full set and do a video on YouTube? Yes, I'm waiting on someone to ask for it. Next time someone comes for a full set, I'm gonna suggest they get it, because I have been wanting to do that set so bad. Somebody said, how do you reduce the smell of acrylic? So what I've done in my new room, I have the dust collector, which I feel like if you leave it on when you're doing acrylic nails, I feel like it sucks some of that odor in as well. I also have an air purifier, which sucks in like dust and smells, which I feel like that helped a lot, because like even when you go in my room now, like you can't really just smell that nail odor, the monomers odor anymore, or not as bad as you used to when I was in here. So I'll be sure to leave the link in the description to that. Let me go ahead and mark that one. Okay, there we go. But yeah, and then also, if that doesn't help, make sure that you keep a fan going at all times, and maybe even crack the door or the window. That way that same air is not just rotating in your room, but it's going, you know, leaving the room and bringing new air in, if that makes sense. The next question is, how can I perfect my bead if they're so inconsistent? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so for that one, I'm gonna leave a link down below of the Tammy Taylor sheet. I'm gonna pull it up right now so you guys can see it. But if you just go to like just type in Tammy Taylor, let me see, Tammy Taylor practice sheet, I think. Yeah, I think it's just practice sheet, and they have like, I mean, you can go to Google on the images, but if not, they have it on their actual website. Let's see. See, and it just looks like this. Okay, so it just looks like this, and it has the instructions, and then it has this one, which it helps you with, like, you know, just being consistent. You have the large beads, the medium, the small, and then same thing for here. As you can see, it has the guides, and this is basically the same technique that I use. You guys know I do the first bead. Well, they do theirs at the tip, but this is like a French tip, so this would be white, that would be pink. But for me, let's see, no, that one's the same, but you know, for me, I do the one right there, two right there, three right there, and then the four, you know, in the middle. So it's basically the same thing. But again, if you just go to Tammy Taylor, let me see, I just went to Google and I typed in Tammy Taylor practice sheet. I clicked on the first one, and then I clicked right here where it says English practice sheet, and that popped up, and you can just print it out, put it in, you can probably print both of them out and just put them in like a plastic sleeve, and then just practice over the like plastic sleeve, and then just it'll be real easy to just take them off, and you can just do it over and over and over again. And I know I don't know if they still do this, because this is pretty old, but they used to do it to where if you like did 50 nails, like 50 of these, and sent them in the mail, I think their address is down here, yeah, and then you sent it to them in the mail, they would send you back like some liquid and powder, which was like a little gift for you. So I would look into that and see. But again, it has all of the instructions on, like, you know, getting the right bead. You dip, wipe, drag, place, lift, pat, stroke, and those are the instructions to getting your bead. So I really think that that is really helpful, so I'll be sure to leave that link down below as well. But anyways, the next question is tips for beginners. We already talked about that. How to make bling stay on a lot longer. We talked about what glue we use, which was the Mia Secret and the Soleil, which is what I just started using. We talked about how to prevent acrylic from getting in your brush. Somebody said, have you tried using organic nail products? Honestly, when I first started doing nails, I did buy a kit from it was like off Poshmark, but it was the organic one. But when it came in the mail, like the monomer spilled or something, so I just ended up throwing it away, but I never got to use it. But I know that that brand is really popular in Mexico, but I've never actually got to use it. Somebody said, how do I grow my gel polish collection? What are some must-have colors to have to please all of my clients? As far as growing your gel polish collection, it's just a matter of practicing, you know, whatever, or not practicing, but purchasing gel polishes, whatever colors you like, you know, will work. Colors that you know that clients would just like, which would be, you know, like your pinks, your like really just like the popular colors, which are just the main colors like pink, red, blue, orange, purple. And then, you know, once you get your main colors, then you would get different shades of them, you know, so like a dark pink, a light pink, a lighter pink, a in-between pink, or a light blue, or royal blue, or navy blue, you know. But first you want to make sure you get your main colors, like the popular ones. And like right now, since it's the summertime, then you want to focus on getting the bright colors. And then once it gets to like the fall time or the winter time, then of course you want to buy like your olive greens, your browns, your nudes. When it gets to the Christmas time, you want to get your reds, your greens, you know. So you want to stay in the seasons when you're buying gel polish, or just any polish at all. Next, y'all, we still have a lot of questions to go, so this video is going to be long, but I'm trying to make sure I get everyone's question answered. She said, how do you get pigment powder to stick and make it said, how do you get pigment powder to stick, and have you ever made your own acrylic with this? Okay, so pigment, I think I know what you're talking about. So I have bought some like powder, like colored powder on Amazon, and I mixed it with acrylic powder, and I basically made my own colored acrylic. So I'll be sure to leave the link down below. It's been a while since I did it, and I actually gave those powders away. Oh yes, speaking of that, so y'all, okay, so as you guys know, not too long ago I did my 50K giveaway on Instagram, and then I did my 2000, was it 2000? It was either 2,000 or 250,000 giveaway on YouTube. So I had two winners, of course, one for Instagram, one for YouTube. So my winner for YouTube, like it was taking her a little bit to like email me her information. So I remember I posted on Instagram, and I guess this was where I messed up. I posted on Instagram and I was like, hey, you know, like, do y'all think I should give her a few more days to respond, or should I just pick a new winner? Because it had already been like a week and I had her package and I hadn't heard from her. So people were like, you know, just give her more time. Other people were like, pick another winner. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give her until the end of this week. So maybe a day or two after that, I had someone email me, and one email was like, Melissa, let me see, I'm gonna say, look, let me see, I think it was like Melissa, I think it's this one. No, hold on, because the actual winner's name was where is it? I don't know where it's at, but I think it's in my phone. Okay, so the actual winner, her name was Jalissa Vargas. So like this person, and I really think that her real name is Melissa, because when she emailed me the very first time, it's like she emailed me from maybe her personal email, and then maybe she was like, oh shit. So like she made another email with like the winner's name, which is Jalissa Vargas. So, and it was the same email, and I wish I could find it, but it was something Melissa. Let me see. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, I have so many, you know, from me placing orders and doing orders, I have so many Melissas. Let me see. Is this it? Okay, no, this is somebody else. But yeah, I'm recording a video. It's probably nail stuff.
Oh, okay. It was a big yellow truck. Shut up, sugar.
Alrighty, well, like I can't remember, but I know her name was, it was the email from Melissa, and it was an email from the Jalissa email. So, but it was the same email, like same wording, same everything, same emoji, same everything. So she was like, hey, you know, like I'm the winner to the giveaway, and it said it exactly like this. Let me see if you can see. See, it was this. It said, hey, I'm the winner. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I never won a giveaway. So, you know, I responded back and I was like, you know, hey girl, you know, congratulations. Thank you for the support. This and the others. So like she gave me her address, which was like a California address. And I think I still have the screenshots in my phone, but I'm recording with my phone. So, you know, I ended up sending out the package. I sent her the tracking number, and then she emailed me again, and she said, she even asked me like, how long do I think it's gonna take the package to get there, and all this other stuff. So she gave me her address. Yeah, it's Fallbrook, California. So yeah, like she sent me her address and stuff, and I sent the package, and I even like threw in a whole bunch of stuff, like just those powders. This is why I'm talking about it, because those colored acrylics that I made, I put them in that package. So I gave them to her. Like I ended up adding a lot more stuff than what I actually like, not advertised, but you know, more than what I showed you guys in the video when I like first posted about the giveaway. So it was like a big box. I don't know if you guys seen it on my Instagram. It was a big Valentino box. So it was a lot of stuff in there. I'm talking about drill bits. I threw in the OPI liquid and powder. I threw in those colored acrylics. It was like a lot, y'all. Like it was a lot of stuff. And then a few days later, the actual winner because I had commented on YouTube, like under her comment, the one that actually won, and I was like, hey girl, you know, contact me ASAP so I can send your gift out. So then I seen that she, like the actual winner comment and was like, hey girl, you know, I emailed you. And then I was like, yeah, you know, I already emailed you back. So then a few days later, she's like, no, like she commented again, and she was like, I didn't get your email, you know, have you sent it out? And I was like, yeah, I sent your product out. Like you even emailed me back and said that you got the product and you were gonna send me pictures or whatever. And then she was like, no, that wasn't me. And I was like, what the hell? So that's when I realized somebody made a fake email. somebody pretended to be this girl just so she can get the price or whatever. So I had been dealing with that, and then now I'm in the process. I still haven't done it, which has been a while now, but I still have to send out a price to the real winner, which is Jalissa. I have to send her her price. I'm just waiting because of course, like at first I was mad, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let it go, because at the end of the day, you know, Jalissa, the real Jalissa, her blessing is going to come, and it's gonna be a lot bigger than, you know, the first time or whatever. So Madam Glam actually sent me a new collection that they have out, which includes 12 gel polishes. It's in honor of their 5th year anniversary. I think it's 5 years. And I'm gonna go ahead and send all of those to her, also a t-shirt and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, you know, if you're watching this, she got it. Y'all, I got some mole on my face. So if you're watching this, just know that, you know, karma comes around, and that's just how that went. But anyways, next question is, how many clients do you take a day? So usually I do like 4 clients a day, but taking, like, it might not be a lot to people, but y'all, like when I first started doing nails, I was doing like 7 or 8 people in one day, to the point where like my back would hurt so bad to where I would be crying at the end of the day. Like it was that bad. So like my back, like even now when I do 4 people, like my back hurts super bad. So honestly, I feel like my health is more important than making money. So I'm not gonna sit there and kill myself over, you know, an extra $30-$40. So I do only 4 people a day, which again, it's not a lot compared to other people, but then also take into consideration that, you know, we're doing a lot more than other, you know, regular nail techs. Next question is, how do you set up your camera and lighting? Can I use my phone? What I use is just a ring light, and you know, the ring lights come with like a little tripod for your phone, so I just put my phone right there. And yeah, so you can use your phone. Honestly, I feel like when people start doing YouTube, they want to go all out and go buy the newest camera, you know, buy all this other stuff, and I feel like, you know, don't spend all your money now, because you want to make sure that your YouTube is actually gonna do good, because you don't want to spend all that money and then your YouTube doesn't even do good, and then you're out of that money from the camera, you're out of that money for, you know, those backdrops that you bought or whatever. So just make sure you start small. I've still been using my phone, and even now that I've been making money off of YouTube, I still prefer using my phone. But of course, you know, it just depends on the person too. We all have different preferences. Somebody said, do you offer one-on-one classes? We already talked about that. She said, when are you going to have a meet and greet in Arkansas? I would love to meet you. Honestly, y'all, like, I feel like, I don't know if it just hasn't hit me or what the case may be, but I just feel like, and even the people that's met me, like I've met people in Texas, I've met people in Florida. I think that's pretty much it. So I feel like people that has met me, like even if you comment below, if you've met me, you know that I'm just like normal. Like I don't consider myself famous. I don't consider myself Instagram famous, YouTube famous. Like I don't consider myself no sort of celebrity, none of that. Like I'm just myself. You know, I don't feel like I'm any better than anyone. So when people are like, when are you gonna do a meet and greet? I'm just kind of like, girl, like we can hang out, but you know, like I don't know, like I guess that's a really good thing though, because I know that a lot of people let it get to their head, and it's kind of like, oh no girl, you know, I have 2,000 or 2,000, 2,500, 2 million, I don't care. I feel like they let, you know, those numbers get to their head, and then they feel like they're famous. So I'm glad that I'm not like that, because yeah. But anyways, somebody said, can you do a video on gel polish or on regular polish, no acrylic? Please tell me why it won't stay on wait, what? Can you do a video on gel polish on regular nails, no acrylic? Please tell me why it won't stay on regular nails. I used a base coat before. Oh, okay. So she wants to know, how does she do gel polish on natural nails? So when you're doing gel polish on natural nails, just like when you do acrylic, you want to make sure that the nail is not oily. So make sure that you, of course, push the cuticles back just like you would when you're doing acrylic. So push back the cuticles, and then with a buffer, just gently remove the shine from the natural nail. Very, very gently, because you are working with the natural nail. So just very gently remove the shine with a buffer, not a file, but a buffer. And then just wipe it off, of course, remove the dust, and then apply your base coat, and then do 2 coats of your color and a top coat, and that should do it for you. They do sell some dehydrators in case you need it, and those help for gel polish as well, and that just helps removing the oils from the natural nail. So again, just push back the cuticles, or shape your nails, whatever you need to do, and gently remove the shine with a buffer from the natural nail. Wipe them off with an alcohol wipe. You can do the dehydrator. If not, just go ahead and do your base and do your 2 coats of gel polish and do your gel top coat, and that's it. The next business is, how much product did you start off with your business? Because as a new tech, I feel like I must have everything in case my clients want a certain product. What do I say if I don't have the product? Thanks. So we talked about this earlier. When I started, I didn't have a lot. But if you're, starting off, I would say, if they ask for something, just say, well, I don't have that, but I can, get it. Because it's really easy for you to like order stuff on Amazon or eBay. So, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just order things that your clients would get. I know I still have things that I bought that I thought I was going to use and I never have. So just get things that they will get or that they've asked for. So usually that's how I've been. When my clients ask for something, I go ahead and get it. That way I know that I'm going to use it. Next question is, hold on, it cut off. Okay, so Samantha asked, she said, new nail tech, opening my own business at home, but I'm scared. When I do my own nails, I get a lot of compliments. So my question is, how did you overcome that fear of not being good enough, or thinking, I wonder if people will like my work? Okay, so if you know that your work is good, then other people are going to think your work is good. So if people are asking about your nails, most likely it's good. So I would say, just stop thinking about it too much. Just go for it. If it works, it works. If it don't, then at least you tried. But just put your all into it. Just make sure that, you follow the rules as far as opening your own at-home business. That way you don't get in trouble. But yeah, I say just put your scariness to the side. You have to have confidence in your work. You don't want people to come to you and then you're kind of like iffy, and they're gonna be like, does she even know what she's doing? So you want to make sure you put on your confident face and do those nails, and that they're gonna be good because you are confident in your work. Anyways, next up we have, she said, what type of gel polish brands and top coat do you use? Can you mix acrylic liquid with other acrylic powder brands? Okay, so as far as gel polishes, you guys know that I use Madam Glam, which is my favorite one, and then I also use D&D. Both of them are really good. D&D is a lot cheaper, or a bit cheaper than Madam Glam, but Madam Glam is worth every penny. And as you guys know, I do have a promo code for them, so I'll be sure to leave that down in the description. But they're really, really good. Madam Glam does come with a regular nail polish and a gel top coat. The only thing about D&D is sometimes with some polishes, it's kind of like a hit and miss. Sometimes they might be a bit runny, sometimes they might be a bit thick. I know my white was really thick. I have, what color? It's another color that's really, really thin. So it's kind of hit and miss, but they're really affordable. So if you are a beginner, I do recommend those. And then, as you make more money, then you can expand and buy a more expensive brand. But I do highly recommend Madam Glam. They just have a lot of good colors, and then they have like the perfect consistency, and a great coverage too. Let's see. And then she said, can you mix acrylics with other liquids with powders? Yeah, you can. I know I've heard people say, like, one time we had someone come to the school. She was from OPI, and she just like told us like don't ever use different liquids and powders with each other, because they could have, you know, like a bad chemical reaction, and it could explode or something like that. But I've used like Mia Secret liquid with OPI powder. I've used it with Tammy Taylor powder, and I've never had an issue. But you do want to make sure that you're careful if you're doing that. But let us know down in the comments if you use different liquids with different powders, because I don't see a problem, honestly. Okay, someone said favorite color on nails. My favorite color on my nails is like a light pink like this. As you guys know, I just had like a rainbow set, and it was cute, but I just feel like it just wasn't me, because I don't know, I just don't do bright colors like that anymore. The next color is, what course did you take to become a nail tech? So again, I am a licensed cosmetologist, so I actually did the whole cosmetology program and not just the nail course, because my school did not have a nail course. Somebody said, was it hard to build your business, and how long did it take? Were you always in your own space, or did you start in a shop? Okay, so when I was like 16, I did work in a shop for like 2 weeks, and then I quit that following Monday because it was just a horrible experience. All I did was pedicures from the time they opened the shop to the time they closed. So that's probably why my back be hurting so bad. Like, I'm still scarred from there, because I promise it would be to the point where I would come home and I would cry because of how bad my back hurt. So my mom's actually been talking about me going to the chiropractor, because that's how bad my back be hurting. Like, it be bad. Sometimes it be to the point where I can't even get up, especially like if I be moving stuff around. Like when I redid my room and I was like putting stuff together, like putting my bed together, putting drawers together, my shelves, like it's to the point where I can't even like stand up straight because my lower back hurts so bad. So I think I'm just scarred from working at that shop. But I mean, it's been what, 7 years now, and I honestly can tell. I mean, you know, back then I was younger, so I didn't really just keep up with, you know, how long it took me to do this and how long it took me to do that. Maybe I should have, but I wasn't thinking about all that back then. The next question is, what's your favorite LED and UV lamp at the moment? She said, trying to get a good one for not a super high price. Okay, so all of the ones that I've reviewed are really, really good. Like I've always said, you know, they all kind of do the same thing. It just depends on, you know, the watts. Some might cure faster, others might cure slower. So it also just depends on what style do you want. Do you want a rectangle one? Do you want a square one? Do you want a small one? Do you want one with a base? Do you want one with a back? Do you want a pink one? Do you want a blue one? Do you want a 50 watt? Do you want a 30 something watt? Like, it just depends on your preference. But the one that I'm using right now is the Sun X UV LED lamp by Fat Moon. I'll be sure to leave that link down in the description. Let me go ahead and mark that one as well, if I can find my pen. Okay. Yeah, so I'm using the one by Fat Moon, and that one you can find on Amazon. And I can't remember how much it is, but if you click on a link, you'll find it. We already talked about how many clients I do in one day. Somebody said how to make the nails proportional to each other, like how to measure them, how much shorter should the pinky be, etc. Okay, so when you are cutting down the nails, after a while, like now I can just kind of guesstimate, but when you're first starting off, make sure that after you trim down the nails, like first one hand, you know, ask them, like especially if you're a beginner, you can ask them like, you know, is this okay? Do you want them longer? Do you want them shorter? Before you cut, if they say, you know, longer, then just scoot the tip cutter back and just clip it down. Ask them if it's okay. They're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, yeah, that's fine. Or they're gonna say, you know, just a little bit shorter, and you go in and clip some more, and then you're kind of just gonna use that length as a guide for the rest. And usually I can just tell by, you know, looking at the nail, and I can guesstimate the length for the rest. I think that's pretty much it. And then afterwards, you know, once you trim both hands down, just put your fingers like this and just, or their fingers like this, and just measure both nails against each other. And then of course, if one's too long, then just trim it down. The next question is, where can you get inexpensive nail supplies for someone who's starting off? Amazon really has everything that you need to do nails. Other nail supply stores, usually I always buy from Amazon because they just have everything. So I don't really ever buy from an actual like nail supply store. I know Nail Supply Glamour has a lot of good stuff. That's really the only other store I've bought from, and then also my local nail supply store. Somebody said, do you offer manicures also? No, I only do acrylic nails. I have before, but it's just not my cup of tea. The next question is, what nail tips for best for wide, I guess she's saying what nail tips are best for wide nail beds. All of the nail tips are gonna come in number 9 or 10 to a number 0, so you just have to make sure that you're sizing the tips correctly, because for the most part a lot of the tips are basically the same. You know, some might be a little thicker, some might be a little thinner, some might be a little longer, some might be curved a little bit more, but as far as the size, they're all going to be pretty much the same size. The next question is, do you use to get nail foil to stick? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. She said, what do you use to get nail foil to stick? I've had foil glue and it just comes out patchy. I recently ordered a nail gel, so hoping that works. I've only ever used the nail glue, or not nail glue, but the foil glue, and that worked for me. But I don't ever just do like a full nail. It's always just like, you know, spots of the foil. But let us know how that foil gel works, because that's what we were just talking about earlier. And then if you do have it, be sure to link it down below so you can help someone out. Somebody said, what are some tips for even acrylic application? No matter what I do, it seems lumpy. Okay, so we talked about this earlier. Making sure that you're using the right amount of liquid and powder, making sure that you're brushing very gently, and then also making sure that you brush out the acrylic as much as you can, because you're going to be able to flatten it out as you go. And then if you have, you know, a little lump or something, just go in and fill it in and even it out. But if they're still bumpy, then you're going to just have to do a lot of filing. But of course, this is going to take practice. You know, it's not going to come overnight. Make sure that you're using a good brush, because your brush has a lot to do with how your acrylic goes on. And then also making sure that you clean off your brush a lot when you're working, because if not, that acrylic is going to keep building onto your brush, building on, and then it's going to be hard for you to have a smooth application. Someone said, where is it? How do you become a certified nail tech? You have to go to school, whether it's manicure school. I don't even know what they call it, manicure school or nail school. I don't know what I think nail technology. I think it's nail technology. I don't know. But you have to go to school. You have to clock your hours. You have to take your sorry y'all. You have to take your state board test, and if you pass, you get your license. So it's no way around it. You have to go to school. You have to clock your hours. And that's the only way to go. Somebody said, how do you clean your brush? Again, I will have a video for that. Why you change your prices? Because my prices were very cheap. Those were the same prices that I've had for years, and I feel like, you know, my work is honestly worth a lot more than what I was actually charging, and my clients, I have no problem with the new prices, and that's all that matters. So that's it for that. Somebody said, your worst client. I think we already talked about that. She said, I have the same drill as you and the bits. What speed do you use? She said, I have the same drill as you and bits. What speed do you use to remove acrylics and gel polishes? It seems like in the video it comes off like nothing, but when I do it, it's nothing. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so whenever I'm removing gel polish or when I'm thinning down the acrylic, I usually have it at like 10,000 RPMs or above. I don't usually like pay attention to the numbers. I always kind of can just tell by the noise of how fast it's going, and then I start filing on a nail, and if it's going too fast, then I slow it down a bit. But make sure also that when you're doing this, you're putting enough pressure on the nail. Not a lot though, because you could cause friction and it will cause the client's nail to burn, but just enough to where it's gonna remove that acrylic or polish. The next question is, that was the same. Oh, what speed do you use when you're filing around the cuticle area? So, okay, so again, I'm using the Scarlet Drill by Melody Susie, and it actually has the speeds on there. So again, when I'm removing gel polish, I use it at 10,000 RPMs. When I'm filing around the cuticle area, I use it at like 5,000 RPMs. And then when I'm filing around the cuticle area, when I'm removing the shine from the natural nail, I use it at probably like 3,000 RPMs, like really slow, because you don't want to file too much on the natural nail. Next we have, she said, what do you do about haters when they see your business growing and don't support anyone? Wait, what? What do you do about haters when they see your business growing and don't support anymore? Having this problem now. Okay, so when you got haters, you just block them. That's all you do, just block them. You know, you don't entertain them, none of that. Like, just block them. And honestly, like, I know a lot of people have been having, or I've been hearing a lot about this lately. You know, like, you will see people posting like, oh, you're supposed to be my friend, but you don't support me. Oh, you're supposed to be my friend, but you don't get your nails done by me. And like, honestly, like, I don't care about all of that. Like, I don't let stuff like that get to me, because I feel like it's just like, you know, people have that one person that they like doing their nails. They have this one person that they prefer to go for their eyebrows, their eyelashes, their hair. You know, people just get comfortable with that one person, and I'm not gonna make you come to me just because I'm your friend, you know. So like, my best friends, they do come to me to get their nails done, but you know, like, other friends, like, I just like, stuff like that don't bother me. But as far as like negative comments on Instagram, like, I am quick to block someone. Like, I don't care, even if it's something that could be negative, but probably it's not negative, but it kind of sounds negative, you get blocked. But anyways, next question is, I need help with shaping my nails. And then we already talked about that. She said, somebody said, why don't you accept new clients? Okay, so we've talked about this a lot of times before. The reason why I'm not accepting new clients is because all of my clients are regulars, which means that when they come, they rebook their 2 weeks. So they already come every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, year round for many years. So when, you know, once they rebook, like, I'm full, I don't have any more openings. You know, I work Monday through Thursday, and then I work Saturday as well. So like, once they rebook, those spots are taken, and that's it. So whenever, you know, someone stops coming, then that's when that opening will open up to someone else. But for the most part, all of my clients are regulars. Somebody said, what monomer do you recommend for sensitive people? Okay, as far as monomer, you want to make sure that when you're doing acrylic nails, that you don't get the monomer on the skin. I know a lot of the time people say that I do, but really, when I clean around the cuticle area, I wipe my brush off really good on a paper towel and then clean around the cuticle area. But you don't want to just like soak their cuticles in monomer, because they will have a reaction to it, especially if they're allergic to it, and they won't know until they are exposed to that monomer. The next question is, have you ever considered using Lager EC Off Gel Polish Remover? And sorry, I think I know what you're talking about, which is that new thing that you just brush over the gel polish and it like sprinkles it up and removes it. I have been looking for it, but I haven't been able to find it. So if you know of a good one, be sure to link it down below so I can look into it. But I wonder if it works over like gel polish that's over acrylic nails. I don't know about that. The only videos that I've watched, it was over like the natural nail, and they like remove the, I guess, top coat, and then they apply that thing, and then it soaks the gel polish off. So I need to look into that. The next question is tips for beginners. We already talked about that. How long have you been in the nail industry? We said 7 years. She said, what is the hardest set you've ever had to do? Honestly, I don't think there's just like a hardest set that I've ever had to do. I feel like I like a challenge. So a lot of the time when my clients come, they'll have pictures and they'll be like, hey, you know, can you do this? Or, you know, this is what I want or something like that. And for the most part, I can usually look at something and know how to do it. Okay, I know. The hardest thing that is just impossible for me to do is the 3D art. Like, I cannot for nothing in the world do the 3D, like, what is it, the 3D flowers. So if you know, like, please teach me, because like I've tried many times and every time I give up. Like, I don't think I've ever just gave up on something, but those flowers, like, that's a whole different story, because they make it look so easy on YouTube, but it's so freaking hard. So like I just be like, I can't do that. Like, I'll tell them, like, I can't do that. I've tried, I just can't. Like, that's not for me. Like, I don't know. You gotta be a different type of a special person to be able to do those flowers, because I can't. Okay, so the next question is, how do you do a full set with no drill? Okay, so for this one, anytime that you're supposed to use the drill, just use a hand file. So like whenever you're supposed to remove the shine from the natural nail, just use a hand file. When you're shaping the nails, just use the hand file. When you're filing the acrylic after you apply the acrylic, just use your hand file. Like, just use your hand file for any time that you're supposed to use a drill. It is going to be a little bit harder to get around the cuticle area, or at least it was for me. But you know, if you do it a lot, you'll get used to it and you'll get better. Somebody said, can you do a in-depth manicure including removing recommended products for dry cuticles, how to clean around the nail for flawless nail gel application, please, and much love to you and your channel. Thank you. So as far as like doing a manicure, as you guys know, all of my clients get acrylics, but when you're doing a manicure, of course, you want to push back those cuticles. If they have any dead skin, you know, clip that off. As far as products, I would suggest doing a cuticle oil. This is something that they're gonna have to do at home as well, because it's not gonna just help from you doing cuticle oil when they're there with you. They have to keep this up. So like they're gonna have to use, you know, make sure that they keep their hands moisturized. So they're gonna have to lotion their hands every day. They can do the cuticle moisturizer, they can do cuticle oil, but this is something that, you know, you can either sell to them or, you know, tell them where to buy it at. That way they can keep it up if they have really dry cuticles. And then as far as like cleaning around the cuticle area, when you polish nails with regular polish or gel polish, you want to make sure that you keep a small dapping dish with acetone and a small brush. That way you can clean around the cuticle area. Next we have somebody say, when will you be accepting new clients? I have no idea, just whenever someone drops out, and then I'll have an opening. The next one is, how do you display previous nail art for clients to flip through? Or how do you handle nail art, period? Have a client ever came in and asked for something you didn't feel comfortable doing? Okay, so as far as displaying my nail art, you know, I just posted on Instagram, and a lot of the time they'll like show me the picture that I did on Instagram and be like, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah. Other times they come with different pictures that they found on Pinterest or Instagram, and they just, you know, tell me that's what they want. As far as being asked to do something that made me uncomfortable, it would really just be those flowers, because I just can't. Somebody said, what age did you like start doing nails? I think it was sometime in middle school, so however old I was then. Do you plan to do more gel videos? Honestly, I don't know. I just did that set on my sister the other day because I wanted to try it out, but I don't think that I'll be using the gel on my clients, just because I feel like it's a lot more time consuming, and that I just prefer to do acrylics. She said, did you change your set price once your clients picked up? If so, how much? What? She said, did you change your set prices once your clients picked up? If so, how did your day one clients take it? Okay, so yeah, when I first started, I was charging $25 for something on each nail, and then it went up to like being $45 for something on each nail, and then it was like that ever since, until just recently when I changed it again. But you know, your clients, they know that if they go somewhere else, they're gonna pay a lot more for, you know, what they usually get with you, so they won't have no issue with it. And then if they do, you know, they can always go somewhere, and then they're gonna realize that, you know, they're gonna have to pay a lot more somewhere else. So you know, just you charge whatever you feel like you're worth this charge. Honestly, I know a lot of people either say, oh, you're still charging, you're charging too much, or and then there's the other people that are like, your prices are still cheap. So honestly, I feel like my prices are still very cheap compared to other people, but I feel like I'm comfortable with my prices right now. The next question is, how do you pick the right school to go to? Okay, so this is gonna be on you to like do your research, maybe tour the schools. What I recommend is just going to different schools. And you know how like, well, like I know for my school, on certain days they did service days, or like a salon day, and we would have just regular clients come in, so it would just be like, you know, just normal people, whoever wanted to come up to the school and get a service done. So I feel like it's better to, instead of like booking a tour, that you just go in and get maybe a pedicure, you know, your toes polished or something. That way you can get like a for real view of what it's actually like, without them putting on like a face on trying to impress you, you know, to come to their school, if that makes sense. But so again, that's what I recommend. Just going to the school, scheduling an appointment. Don't even tell them that you're thinking about going to the school or anything. Just go and see what they're actually like. Next is, how did you perfect your nails? We already talked about that. She said, I'm having a hard time applying acrylic. It's flat near the cuticle area. I can drill most of it down when it's too thick, but any tips on how to avoid making a thick application? Remember that you want to stick to a certain method. I prefer the 4-ball method, which is the first one right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets, another one at the tip, another one closer to the cuticle area, and then the 4th one over the entire nail. That way it builds your apex. So you want to stick to a method, that way you're not just applying acrylic all over. And then also make sure that when you're applying your acrylic, you're using a little bit of a product at a time. Alrighty, so the next question is, do you have a boyfriend, and how's the love life? Yes, I do have a boyfriend. We've been together for in August it'll be 8 years, and it's going well. The next question is, what products did you start off with, and as you build your clientele, what did you buy product wise? Okay, so the product that I started off using was just I forgot to mention this, but when I first started, I bought a kit from the nail supply store, and it was like their liquid and their monomer. Most likely it was MMA, but I didn't use it for very long because I realized that it was MMA. And then after that I started using OPI, but at first I only bought the things that were necessary to do acrylic nails. So of course my nail files, my nail tips, my glue, you know, my polish, and all that good stuff. And then I started adding, you know, the bling, the nail art stuff, a little by little as I made more money, because again, you don't want to go broke trying to, you know, buy all that stuff at the beginning. Okay, now we have someone that joined us because it's thundering and he's scared. So he was over here under my table or my desk. What's wrong, baby? I'm scared. He's always shaking whenever it thunders. What is that? Anyways, she said, someone said, where can I find sturdy nail tips? Local nail supply doesn't have any sturdy ones. Yeah, all of the ones that I found at the local nail supply store are the ones that are like, they're longer, but they are pretty flimsy. The only sturdy ones that I found so far are the ones that I have on my website. They will be up pretty soon. I already got the shipment in, so once my website is restocked, they will be back on there. Next we have, what's the difference between acid-free primer and primer, and which is best to use? Okay, so as far as like acid-free, and just the regular primer. Acid free doesn't have that acid, so sometimes when you apply the primer on the nail, if it burns, that means that it has that acid in the primer, and then if it doesn't burn, that means it's acid free. But I'll find a more detailed article about that, because that's where I looked it up. I'm not sure if mine's acid free or not, but I know if you do get it on the skin, it burns, so it might just be regular primer. Next we have let's see, how do you minimize the odor of the monomer? We already talked about that. Somebody said, when are you going to start blogging? Honestly, like today I did a get ready with me as well. Like, yo, I did so much today. I went to work out, and then I came home and started recording this video, and then I did nails, and then I'm back to recording this video. But then I also did a get ready with me type of video, so I'll be sure to add that as well. But y'all, like whenever I do the get ready with me, I only did it because someone asked for it. But y'all, I feel like my life is not interesting enough for me to even like blog. Like, I don't even know what I would talk about other than to show y'all what I do every day, which is literally the same thing over and over and over again. It's okay, baby, it's okay. Next we have she said the best gel top coat. I use the IBD gel top coat, which works really good for me. I know some people have said that it's a little bit too thick for them. So I've also been using the Madam Glam gel top coat, and that one works really good as well. It's really shiny, and it's also a non-cleanse, which means you don't have to wipe the little sticky layer afterwards, because it doesn't have one. And I'll leave the link in the description to that one. And then it's not really thick either. She said, would you recreate an old set? I think that'd be a good idea. Honestly, I am gonna do that pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. Y'all, it's gonna rain so hard. Like, the trees are just going from side to side. My sugar bear is over here shaking from side to side. What's wrong, baby? I'm just so scared. Oh, he's so scared. She said, how do you stop white acrylic from turning brown? You might need to change acrylics, because your acrylic shouldn't be turning colors. It could be that it's staining, but make sure that you apply a gel top coat on the nails. But usually a lot of the time, you know, white is hard to, you know, keep white, even if it's regular, well, especially if it's regular nail polish. But like even gel polish sometimes stains, so that's an issue that a lot of people will have. But I've never had a problem with my acrylic, my white acrylic, to turn color, so I'm not sure about that. Somebody said, what age did I start doing nails? I was 15. How do I set up my camera? Again, I use my ring light, and it has the tripod for my phone. How did you know doing nails was your passion? I just enjoyed doing nails, and I couldn't find anything else that I wanted to do as a career. So that's why I decided to just, yeah, I spent that. Oh, it's okay. So I couldn't find nothing else to do, so I just stuck to doing nails. We're almost done, y'all. We got like 5 pages. Like, I'm really tired of doing this Q&A, but I want to make sure I answer everyone's questions. Next, it's okay, baby, it's okay. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I'm right here, like literally right here by the window. The next question is, why do you use pink acrylic instead of clear? Is it a preference, or does it help with me? Does it help with light polishes becoming less streaky? Okay, so the reason why I use pink acrylic is just a preference. I just like pink, so I like that hint of pink that it has in there. But you know, as far as like encapsulating nails with my pink acrylic, it's just, you know, it's almost clear. It's like a really translucent pink, so you can't really even tell that it's pink, which is why I like it. But it just depends on you. You know, if you want to use clear, that's fine. If you want to use a pink, that's fine too. It doesn't matter, because they're all gonna do the same thing. It's just gonna be a difference in the color. Y'all, sugar is shaking so hard. It's okay, baby. Let's see. Okay, so we have another question. This one says, she wants to say that she loves my work. Thank you. This is Lukey Nails on Instagram. She also said that she's asking about how do I do my ombre with the sponge. And what I do is I just apply the polish on the sponge. So if I'm doing an ombre with two colors, I do the first color that's gonna go on the tip, like in the middle of the sponge, and then I do the other color at the top. And then I just dab it on the nail. The sponges that I use are the ones from Dollar General, and they come in a pink package and they work really good for me, and those are the only ones that have worked for me really good. I've also used some from Walmart. I've also used some from Dollar Tree, and they do absorb the polish a lot, so I do suggest using the ones from Dollar General. The next one is tips on doing nails for nail biters. Honestly, I haven't had that problem at all. Maybe one person a long time ago, and you just have to make sure that you apply the right size tips, and then of course you're gonna have to glue them on further back. And then if they're really bad, then most likely you will have to do the sculptured nails, because that's the only way they're gonna stay on. But you do want to make sure that if you have a nail biter, that you try to grow their nails out. A lot of people, they bite their nails because of anxiety or if they're nervous or something. So a lot of the time you just can't help them. But they try. Sometimes people try to keep acrylic on their nail, that way they don't bite the nails off. Someone said, did you officially start during school? No, I started doing nails before I started school. I started in 2012, and I didn't start cosmetology until 2013, so the following year. Somebody said, how long have you been doing nails? We talked about that. They asked about bad clients. Okay, so she said, how do you deal with bad clients when they move a lot, eat, talk on the phone, etc.? Okay, so when I made my new price list, on the back I did put different policies, and I'll be sure to leave the picture of this over here. It just says like the rules on try not to use your phone as much, and I'll leave the link or the picture so you guys can see it. But I basically just have my policies where just telling them that I don't want them being on their phone a lot. And then as far as moving, you can just tell them like, hey, can you stop moving because I'm kind of messing up. That's about it. Somebody said, can you soak off format gel with acetone just like acrylic? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't done my sister's nails since I did the gel nails, so I'll be sure to let you guys know once I redo her nails again. The next question is, do you recommend for us beginners to put all of the nail stuff, what do you recommend for a nail beginner to put all their nail stuff so it can travel? You can probably buy one of those big makeup kits that have wheels on them. That would probably be good. If not, you can use some sort of plastic tub or maybe a suitcase. I'm not sure. You can probably go on Amazon and you probably find some sort of makeup kit, because I think I've seen some, and I think some people use those for that. I'm pretty sure I can hear this thunder, and my Tuggle Bear, every time it thunders, he shakes. Okay, so the next question is, what made you start a YouTube channel? Not complaining though, I love to watch them. What made me start was one of my friends, she started her YouTube channel, and she would just tell me how I needed to start one, and she would tell me over and over again, and then finally I listened to her. And then the very first time I posted a video, I tried editing on my laptop and recording on a camera, and I just gave up on editing. I just couldn't. And then after that, I finally picked it up again that October, I think. And then I started recording on my phone and editing on my phone, and it was a lot easier. And then I just kept it up. I started being consistent. I started doing my own research, and then I'm here now. So the next question is, let's see. We're almost done now. We only got 3 pages now, so I'm tired. Oh, 4 actually. But the next question is, how long is the nail program? Does it vary by state? Yes, it does depend on what state you're in. As far as the nail program, I think some states are like, it's either 600 hours or 500 hours. I think it's 600, but it will vary depending on what state you are. So you would have to just look up what your state requires. The next question is, what do you do when you have a client whose nail bed is too wide for a size 0 nail tip? I can't remember, but I think they sell nail tips that are a bit bigger. Let me see. Because I remember when I used to get my nails done by this one lady, she had like some big nail tips that were for a thumb. Let me see. I think it was like a 00. Or you can also just build the nail with a form. Let's see. See, if you go to, I just typed in 00 nail tips, and these are actually for toenails. It says toenail tips, one size, number 00, and it comes with 50 nail tips, and that's at it's called nailsuperstore.com. So I'll leave that link down below as well. And you could probably use those, but I know they do have a 00, which are those. Let me see what other websites has some. Nail Supply House has some. I've never shopped from them, but they have, oops, let's see. Yeah, they have a 000. Yeah. So just look it up. You can just go on Google and type in 000 nail tips. Next is, what's your favorite type of nails to do? I like doing long cuffing nails. They said, was there ever any other career that you want to try? Honestly, people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I want to be a firefighter for one day. I want to be an EMT for one day. I want to be a general surgeon for one day. I want to work at Walmart for one day. Did I say firefighter and a cop? Both of those for one day. Just for one day though. A nurse for one day. I think that's it. So I want to do those jobs for one day just to see what it's like. But I enjoy doing nails. So, and I'm pretty sure it's much easier than all of that. Other than Walmart. What else? And I think at Walmart, I just want to do it because I want to sit there and like tap on a screen. Like even when I go to Walmart, I always do self-checkout because like, I don't know, I just like enjoy like scanning the stuff and like tapping on the screen. I think it's just like the noise that my nail makes on the screen. I don't know. But anyways, they said, do you believe a beginner can learn from just practicing on herself? The answer is just because that's how I learned. I did go to school, but I already knew a lot before I started school. Do you have a favorite nail art technique? Honestly, not that I can think of. I like doing marble. I just think it's pretty. As you can see, I have a marble backdrop. But I don't know that I just have like something that I just like going towards. Somebody said, I'm Fiverr Glassed. My name is Natali too. I never met someone who spelled it the same. Yeah, so my name, I know at first when I first spelled it on here, it was with an E, but my name, like on my actual birth certificate, it's just Natali. No E at the end, even though I still spell it with an E at the end sometimes. That's a story behind that, but it's just with an I. Somebody said, what drill bit do you use to smooth out bumps around the cuticle area? Okay, so I'm gonna leave pictures of each one here, but I use a fine drill bit by McCall. Alrighty, so the next question is, what drill bits do you use to smooth out bumps around the cuticle area? And can you show up close what drill bits? Okay, so I'm gonna leave pictures here so you guys can see it, but I use a fine drill bit, which is a ceramic one by Pana. I use a sanding band, which is the one to remove the shine from the natural nail. And then I also use the extra coarse safety drill bit, which is also by Pana. The sanding band, of course, is to remove the shine. The one to file around a cuticle area when you're filing down the acrylic, that one is the fine one. And then the extra coarse drill bit is to remove the gel polish or thin down your acrylic. But again, you'll see a picture here of those. The next question basically asks the same thing about the must-have bits, and I only use those three, so those are my must-have drill bits. Tricks, and somebody said tips and tricks for beginners. We already talked about all of that. Again, you're just gonna have to find what works for you. I know, like, as far as like speed, you know, you're just gonna have to do it over and over and over again, and you might think that like I'm lying about that, but like that's really the only way to get better. It's kind of like riding a bicycle, or you know, skating, or whatever the case may be. You know, you're not gonna be good right when you get on the bike. You know, it's gonna take practice. You're gonna have to learn how to pedal. You know, it's the same thing. You have to just keep doing it over and over. And just like in a bike, you're gonna fall, you're gonna fail when you're doing nails, you're gonna get lifting, but you have to just keep going, and you're only gonna get better with time. But you have to be patient, and it has to be something that you really enjoy, because like, say you didn't like riding a bike, you're just gonna be like, you know what, forget this, you know, I don't even like riding a bike. So if that's something that, or that if that's how you feel when it comes to doing nails, then maybe nails is not for you. So it has to be something that you really enjoy doing. That way it'll keep you going, and it won't make you, you know, want to give up. The next question is, I've seen people make clear pink acrylic by adding a few drops of pink polish to their monomer. Is this something you recommend? Why or why not? Honestly, I've never, maybe have I seen that done? I've actually never tried it. You can probably try it and let us know how that goes. Just because I know that the monomer is purple, so I don't know if that purple and that pink would kind of work against each other and make a different color. But you know, I'll try it out one day and see if it actually works. Someone said, what advice do you give them? We just talked about that. What is a good nail file to use? As far as e-file, I use the Scarlet Drill by Melody Susie. And then as far as a hand file, I either use a 100-100 nail file or a 80-100. With the nail drills, or with the nail files, the higher the number, the smoother it's gonna be, and the lower the number, the more coarse the file is gonna be. Next we have, she said, what ring light and phone holder do you use to record your videos? I'll be sure to leave the link down below of the ring light that I use. And then the holder, it's literally just the one that comes with the ring light. Next, somebody said, will you ever travel to do nails? If so, let me know. I want you to do my nails for show. Honestly, I mean, probably out of state, but as far as like traveling here in Arkansas and doing nails, I don't think so. Just because it's so much stuff to carry around, and you guys know I have a lot of stuff, and that's just too much. But maybe if I travel out of state, I know this summer I was planning on doing something where like kind of like a little nail tour, and I just travel to different states and do nails, but I wasn't able to do it because time just be going by so fast, y'all, and I just cannot keep track. So hopefully sometime in the future I'll be able to do that. The next question is, would you say going to an actual school is better than an apprenticeship? Honestly, I don't even know what states actually even still allow that, because as far as I know, you still have to go to school in order to get your nail license. Now I have heard that there are states that let you kind of like you know, like be kind of like an assistant, and it works, or it counts towards your hours, but I'm honestly not sure how that works because they don't allow that here in our state. It would be nice, but I feel like you would learn more in the actual like salon, because you're getting like the real life experience. But I feel like you still have to go to school to learn more of like the infection control, you know, stuff like that. So I think it's kind of like either one or a little bit of both, actually. So I think it would be good if maybe you go to school, if they did it to where you went to school for a few months and then you did your apprenticeship. Next we have, let me see. How do you shape nails? We already talked about that. She said, where can I find good quality acrylic brushes? I don't like the one that came with my Mia Secret kit. Okay, so this question I get a lot. You guys know that the brushes that I use are by Alpha Brush. They work really good for me. I've heard people say that they've had problems with them, but as far as for me, they worked really good for me. I haven't had any issue at all. I used the Alpha Brush in a number 10 in an oval shape, and I love it. So I'll be sure to leave the link in the description if you guys are interested. Let's see. Someone said, do you know, she said, we know you love me a secret, but would you be open to trying another line of products? Maybe Young Nail, Valentino Pure, why or why not? I think I mentioned this already, that I am interested in, you know, just being open to trying new things. Most likely I will be trying Young Nails pretty soon. So if I do, I'll be sure to post about it as always. We already talked about a UV lamp. We already talked about the ombre nails. Let's see. We already talked about a nail drill. My favorite thing to do. We talked about that. We talked about, someone say, how do you handle negative people on social media? We talked about that. I just block or delete them. Most likely I block them. Like, my block list is long because, like, why? I just feel like, my thing is, like, why do people feel the need to comment on everything? Like, do you ever just scroll through and you see something that you don't like? Like, you don't have to stop and comment, you know, just keep scrolling. You don't have to, like, why waste your time and energy on just anything? Like, just keep scrolling. So people like that, I just block them. Like, I don't argue with them. I just block them. Next we have, she said, what's the best size brush to start off when learning how to apply acrylic? Okay, so I would, as far as like Alpha Brush, I would suggest using like a number 9 or 10. Most likely a 10. I feel like, you know, when you're starting off, if you use a bigger brush, it means that you're going to be using more product, which means that you're going to have to be able to control that product. Even me, after I've been doing nails for 7 years, I still prefer to use a smaller brush because I don't like working with too much product at a time. So I would suggest using a number 9 or 10. Also, you know, I would say start off small and then work your way up to a bigger brush. I know there's people that learn to do nails with a big brush. I learned how to do nails with a smaller brush, which is why I just enjoy using a small brush. Somebody said, do you do acrylic nails on natural nails that may be broken or not there? I think I had this question before, and what they mean is, like, you know, like, say they broke their nail off to the point where they, you know, no longer have a nail at all, or maybe even just a little bit of nail. Honestly, I wouldn't suggest putting a nail on there, just because it could make their case worse, you know, especially since, like, say there's only a little bit of their natural nail left. If you put a tip on there, that means that it's only like a tiny bit of nail there to hold the acrylic, and if they hit it, they can break that nail off very easily. So I would suggest just leaving that nail alone, because you don't want to make it worse. We talked about how to apply the acrylic around the cuticle area. We talked about what age I was when I started doing nails. Yes, I did stop doing nails when I first tried. I only stopped for a little bit. And then the last question was, do you still have any promo codes? Yes, I do have promo codes for some companies. I'll be sure to leave all of those promo codes down below, as far as the links. So I think that's pretty much it, y'all. I had literally 20 sheets of comments, and I read through all of them. Some, they were very, a lot of them were repetitive. But I think for the most part, I hit every comment or question that people had. So hopefully that was helpful. If you still have any more questions, I'll be sure to answer them down in the comments. Y'all, I'm tired. Again, I've been doing this video all day. I would stop, go do nails, come back, go eat or something. So I'm tired. I'm glad that I'm done, but I wanted to answer everyone's questions. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you gained something from this video. And yeah, so it was nice sitting here for what, 2 hours. So this video is going to be long, but hopefully again you guys enjoyed. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNail32, and I'll see you guys next time.